Hey, Theme Park Thursday friends. Thanks so much for joining me for episode 29. This layout is pictures of the girls, my husband, my son, and I. We'd flown in the day before from Alabama and to Disneyland, and undoubtedly had to be on like the 5 a.m. flight because that just seems like the one I always end up on. And we're a little bit jet lagged. So I'm sure that we got up in the morning just fine because it was a 2 hour time difference. But it just caught up with us. So we went back to our hotel. We were only like a mile away. We walked back to our hotel, take a nap. But the girls were like, I'm not wasting any precious Disneyland time. So they stayed at Disneyland and went to the confectionery, rode on Pooh's Honey Hunt, and then went to a Beauty and the Beast stage show. So this layout is just kind of them while they were off playing. While we were, being old and going back to the hotel for a nap. So I was able to use an old, I think it was an Advisor exclusive collection called Fresh Focus. The stickers are not necessarily what I might have used, but hey, it had stickers and I was able to put a little stickers. I'm still trying not to use titles, just to prove to myself that you don't always have to have a title, but I'm not sure if that's how well that's going to last forever. So stay tuned to see kind of how this came together. And this is going to have a peekaboo pocket on it when I put it in the album, but I don't have any peekaboo pockets, but just, funny faces. So I couldn't decide between these. So I don't have any peekaboo pockets right now. I'm gonna have to order some or bring some for my studio. But when this all goes in the album, when I do the album flip through, whenever all these albums are done and we get to see it all, you'll get to see it with the peekaboo pocket that's going to be right here and the finished layout for week 29. So stay tuned to see how it all came together. All right, so these pictures basically are just a group of pictures that the girls took. Princeton and Alex and I went back to the hotel to take a nap. And this is all basically the same photo. They watched the marching band thing. I have no idea what that is. Mickey Parade, a duck, more of probably the flag ceremony. And I think the next page is Beauty and the Beast show. And I have a bunch of pictures of that, but I don't know that I care. You know what? Maybe I should combine those too. Because this is what they did while we were gone. But the best thing about this Beauty and the Beast show was the sign language interpreters. And so they took a lot of pictures of the sign language interpreters. And so maybe what I need to do, have I ever showed you guys these papers? I made these on my computer to be little layout sketches because they've got a grid, so that kind of helps me see what I'm doing. So like when I design playbooks or something like that, this is what I like to use. I have some that are double page, but it would maybe be kind of fun to do something with little squares along one side. I mean, look, they're like looking over to see what's happening in the show. It's so cute. Like, I really like these little guys, but I don't really care that much about the show because I didn't watch it. And, Here are my little sizing guides. Do I have I have a whole bunch of these, but I'm not sure where they all are. I try to keep them on a little hook next to my work table, but then the hooks get overcrowded and I move them. Turns out I've got two 3-inch squares, a 3.2 inch circle. I mean, too many hooks around my table. But I kind of would like, there's a layout I saw that kind of had like a section over here. It actually might be a layout that I have scheduled for my Jumpstart January challenge. This might be a sneak preview. I think it was like two squares by 5 squares, and it's like a square and a circle and a square and a circle and a square and a circle. And all of these are like in a block of color. I could do something like that, but I wouldn't be able to do, I guess I could do just 2-inch. I've got these. It would really be nice to be able to fit them in these pieces, which are 1 3/4, which would fit perfectly inside a 2-inch outside frame. Okay, maybe we're going to do that. Maybe we're going to use the square and the circle here. We're going to make like a little thing on the side for the Beauty and the Beast show. And then they rode Pooh's Honey Hunt. And then they went to the confectionery or whatever and got treats. And I have this might have to be some peekaboo pockets. Here's like the nice, happy, smiling picture. And here's like the goofy selfies, all the things we're gonna eat. I definitely want that one. I definitely want that one. I definitely want this one. So maybe I'm gonna do something like, I don't know, like, oh, you know, I could even do a narrower band right here. If I did this like a 6-inch band, because these are all horizontal photos. So if I did this like a 6-inch band, and then I could put the bakery photo right here. And then the picture of them with the desserts right here. And then I could stick 3 of these like underneath in a peekaboo pocket, which I don't even know where my peekaboo pockets are. I kind of like this just alternating, you know, not centered in the middle of the 6-inch, but kind of alternating. Maybe with something right here. I want to say something about, oh, we're not doing titles, right? Like sweet treats or something. And then I'm just going to say something about how, you know, Mom and Dad and Alex went back to take a nap. And, okay, but what papers do we have? I mean, I have some like the baking fun papers, but I think those are like more like baking cookies, not just eating treats. These are pictures. And these will all be pictures. Except maybe one of these will be like text box. We'll have to see how the picture things work out. All right, the previous page, oh, it was the train. I love how the train turned out. I need some kind of embellishment here, something right here, something right here, maybe, I don't know. That's my group of 3. But what do I want to do as far as background paper? I guess I could look and see what kind of food theme papers we have. Maybe I do something that's more tonal, purple and kind of purple and this kind of gold. I don't think so. And I don't think I'm going to worry about these other pictures that are just kind of random. There's some reason Michelle took a picture of this and she told me what it is and I don't remember, and I don't remember. I don't know if it's worth being in the scrapbook. So this is the part where I just kind of stare at this for a minute. I am noticing like the trees. I'm drawn to the trees. I'm kind of drawn to the yellow. We got the blue, the yellow, the purple. But I feel like we've used kind of this purple before. All right, let me kind of rummage through my papers and see what I can find. All right, what do we think about this one? What I'm liking about this is the green. I was kind of rummaging through it when it's in my bin. I don't know what's all left in here. I believe this was a Quarterly Advisor exclusive paper pack. The trick is going to be how much of it do I have, because I'm liking this speckly paper the most, maybe as a background. Got these speckles on it, but I've got one. A lot of times with the Advisor paper packs, I end up with multiple partial packs. Okay, it's got that. I don't think I want this plaid. I like the burgundy as maybe my accent. And then we've got this green. So we could kind of do the green with the burgundy on either side of it. And then what? It's the plaid. I don't really want the orange. I don't like the light green. Maybe a solid cardstock. And then it's got just some, you know, making memories, smile, love this life, collect beautiful moments. Just some generic little stickery sayings, which I could use for my little accent pieces. Maybe I do want the orange for my, I could put these on there. That could maybe work. I obviously love this paper because I saved all these little scraps. Which is kind of funny because I didn't necessarily remember this particular paper. Sometimes when there's a paper pack that I love, you know, I remember it and I think of it with affection. So let's start by figuring out which ones of these I can cut into squares and circles. And to do that, I'm going to want to make me a little template, a couple of little templates. And for this one, that's 7.5, so I'll cut that at 3.5. I want to, you know, carefully position this so that I know how far it is from the edge of the paper, or the edge of the punch. All right, so because I know I can only go in that far. So if I wanted to punch this right here, I would have to trim it. But if I just want to do these guys, I can easily circle, you know, not circle them, but get them in there. There's the beast. All right, so I'll do a circle 1, 2. I love this little one where he's like, looks scared. There's Belle. It almost looks like she's about to rub the magic lamp, but that's a different show. Okay, so let me kind of divide these up. Oh, look, he's got a pie. I kind of like that with the pie. There's no, oh, maybe that is like the Be Our Guest part of Beauty and the Beast. So I'm not going to make you guys look at all these, but look at this one with his face. I just love the faces that this guy's making. That just makes it just fun and salvageable. So I need 10 that I'll need to be able to fit in that space. So for instance, there's one of like a girl dancing. This one, I can't use that, you know, unless I just want to use part of her. But because, you know, and obviously you can tell it's kind of pixely, so they zoomed in. So let me go through here and find the pictures that I want to cut for my little side panel right here. And then we'll figure out what we're going to do with this, you know, I think I'm going to do the green with the red and then the speckle on either side of it. I could, in fact, weld these pieces together so that I would only need to use one paper pack of this. But yeah, maybe I'll do that. We'll do some welding. Okay, I'm gonna punch these out and figure out a plan, and then I'll come back. All right, I picked 4 and 4, and I need 5 and 5, but this one, I think I want to get this one as a square right up against the edge. I don't want, he's off, just about off camera. But then I want this one as a circle. So I'm just going to mark the edge. I'm cutting this off anyway. I'm just going to mark the edge of this with a pencil. Grab my trimmer and just kind of cut on that line. It doesn't have to be exact. But then that positions this so that then I can take the circle. I don't know who this is. Gaston or somebody maybe. I don't know if this was really a Beauty and the Beast, like a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. And I definitely want the pie guy. Even if I have to cut off my little... And if these people's heads, you know, when you go to a show at Disney, my whole thing about other people being in my photo. Cut off with their heads. And cut most of that off. Yeah, I can just see this like in the light when I turn my head. So now I can put this little two. I think I wanted this one as a circle. I need to trim just a hair off of this to get in there. Oh, he's obviously so dramatic. They do such a good job. I love it when I go to Disney and I happen to end up in, oh, I wanted a picture of Belle. When I happen to end up in a show that has sign language interpreters. Because they just, you know, they are actors and performers as much as the other performers. They do such a beautiful job. And especially some of the shows, like not this one, obviously, which I haven't never actually seen, but some of the shows, they're, you know, I don't even watch the show anymore because they're so good. All right, I got 4 circles. I was going to do him. Maybe I'm still going to do him kind of hiding. Oh, no. Oh, but then I have to cut this guy off. Sorry, guy. I'm sure you were funny too, but in this photo, it's the blonde-headed guy. All right, these. And then I don't know, actually didn't use my little template to see if this is going to fit. I have no idea what's going on in this picture. But that looks a lot like Lumiere right there. So I'm just going to do the same with all of these. Oh, this one. Can I fit both of them in this one? Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter which direction I cut this because obviously it's a square. There's no up or down. Yeah, I want a little bit more. Oh, look, I got almost all of this girl's head cut off. Haha. All right. That gives me 1, 2, 3, 4 squares and 5 circles, which gives me a 1 square that I can write the words Beauty and the Beast show. And I might need to look that one up online to see like what the name of it was. So I'm done with these. So, oh, do I weld or do I just try to use up paper that I have? Oh, look, there's the back of it is that orange. But these are 1 3/4, so this just needs to be 2. Oh, I could do 6. Can't I? Well, not if I want to. 5, 6. I want this to be shorter. I guess I could squeeze them together a little bit more. And still fit it in, which means I could do 1 more of each shape. Or I could do like a rectangle of the little words. All right, I need this one. So I was talking to some advisor friends, and one of them said that her trimmer, see how right now when I put this up, it kind of stays. Whoops, not when I turn it, I guess. There's like this little bump out that holds your trimmer. There's a little nub on there that catches in that blue piece to hold it in place. But we think what's happening is as your trimmer gets used a lot, like this feels like almost like a loose baby tooth in here, and it doesn't grab this in place anymore. So my other trimmer is worse, but I mean, it doesn't hold it in. And we're wondering if that's how come our cuts are sometimes crooked, because it's not staying up where it needs to stay. So I don't know, but I do find that with is this directional? With my papers, sometimes if rather than put it at the top to cut at 6 inches, if it's a full-size paper, if I put it down here at the bottom, so it's level with the bottom edge of the trimmer, and I just barely touch that 6 inch, that I'm more likely to get a straight cut. So I'll be interested to see with the new trimmer, it's not going to have this little raised edge. It's just going to be a flat ruler that folds out, and it's only going to fold out about that much because the trimmer itself is going to go to 6.5 inches. So I was talking to a friend today about the new trimmer and how much we don't want to need the new trimmer, and yet we know that we need the new trimmer. Okay, so now I want to do these down the middle, and I don't want this to be exactly the same. I want to have some variety. Oh, but see, now that kind of runs. I think I do want this. This kind of has a vertical stripe. It's got that little thing right there, so I'm gonna put it right here. But do I weld? Do I cut just 3-inch pieces and weld? I think I do, because that will save me a piece of this paper that I really like. And I'm gonna go ahead and use this white paper that came with the paper pack, and I'm gonna have to 1, 2, 3, 4 welds. So I'm gonna cut 4 1/2-inch strips. And I don't know if I've done welding in a while. Probably I have. It definitely saves paper. But sometimes I'm too lazy to do it. All right, and so then I've got to take my paper and cut this into 4. Oh, this way will be kind of nice because I can put like the more speckly pieces at the bottom. 4 3-inch pieces, and then the less speckly ones at the top. And that might actually be the look I want. And it's got some little fake words on here, but they don't really say anything. They're just kind of random weird letters, so we don't care what they say. All right, so now we're going to weld. I'm going to use my mat just to make sure that everything is straight. These are the 2 less speckly ones, and these are the 2 more speckly ones. And I kind of want the speckle and then the green. I'm going to turn it over. And really, I don't necessarily need that mat. I'm just going to line it up, making sure that I get it just right, the top and bottom. And this works better with like 2 designer papers or 2 cardstocks, not one of each, just because of the weird cardstock tolerances, I guess. All right, so I've just run my tape runner down, and I'm just going to put this little piece to cover up those tapes. When I very first learned to weld, and my apologies to those of you who heard this story 100 times, but when I very first learned to weld, I was told to put my adhesive on this paper and then stick it down, and I hated welding. I would always have a gap between my papers, and it just didn't look good. And then my friend Sherry Tilley taught me to butt your paper up, make sure there's no little gaps, and then just use this just as you would Scotch tape or something. But you don't want to use Scotch tape in your scrapbook because it's not permanent. And then cover it up with the strip, and you get that same, the same welding. Oh, I didn't cover it up all the way. Get my little de-stickifier where I was off center with my weld, just so this doesn't stick to things before I'm ready for it to. And there, got my whole paper, and it looks just like it doesn't have a chance to move around and gap because I didn't have to like put this piece of paper down and risk moving it. It was already stuck together before I needed it. Okay, and so this is going to be the bottom, like that, and that will be the top. So like this. So I'm filming this Wednesday night, which is a little late in the week for me. I try to do these a little earlier so I have time to, get them edited and whatever. But I have my big Winterfest. We're doing our first ever staycation retreat where rather than stay at a hotel, we're kind of doing it like a retreat, but it'll just be at my rented studio, which means that we don't have to pay the exorbitant hotel retreat prices, and my local girls don't have to stay at a hotel or whatever. And we called it Winterfest. Years ago when I lived in North Carolina, my friend Terry Schultz and I used to do a Winterfest retreat. We did it a few years. But what I had forgotten, if you put your tape on straight, you don't have a sticky part you have to worry about. What I'd forgotten is that I think the first time Terry and I did Winterfest together, again, North Carolina, so it's kind of like here in Alabama, where we don't get much wintry weather. And we had a winter storm come through. And if you live in a town that only has one snowplow and they don't treat the roads and they don't have any of that stuff, and especially where, snow is usually comes after ice, we end up having to postpone our Winterfest for a week. And lo and behold, what do we got coming in Alabama maybe this weekend? Yeah, big winter storm. So, this one I guess I don't have to go all the way to the edge because I'm if I use my 6-inch peekaboo pockets, they'll come out to here. I'll have to put this on something so that it matches right there. We'll center that on there. Anyway, I've spent all week kind of scrambling to figure out what on earth we're going to do with our Winterfest, because at one point they were saying anywhere up to 1 to 2 inches of ice, followed by, 3 to 10 inches of snow. But then today, Wednesday, after I rescheduled my whole crop, now they're saying, it might pass us by. I'm like, you guys. So instead of having a crop that goes till Saturday, we're just doing Thursday, Friday. I really want to cut that guy's hand off, but I can't put both of them in here. So we'll see. I might not use all of these, but this gives me another circle and another square. But I mean, it is telling that, my daughters who are not scrapbookers, most of the pictures they took of this Beauty and the Beast show are mostly the interpreters, the sign language interpreters. Okay, I don't know exactly how wide I want this to be. At least 2 inches, maybe 2.5. Right here, it's just 5 inches. I'm going to give it the whole 5 inches. I'm just going to cut off this circle scrap piece. But I know I want it to be at least, well, I'm not going to cut anything yet. I want it to be at least 1/8 of an inch, or 1/4 of an inch down. So I want to take at least 1/2 inch off and maybe more. So this feels like a good job. Oh, this feels like a good job for my new layout ruler, actually. Even though I was just using my regular zero centering ruler, and not even the zero, just the regular ruler. Here's our layout ruler that has the little guide so that it stays straight against your mat. So now I can put this on here. And maybe I might even want to stick this down. Actually, a little piece of tape on my mat already. But I think I'm not going to. I'm going to put it right here at the 6-inch mark. And then I'm going to put this on so that it's on the 1/4 inch line. So the edge of my ruler is up here on the 6 1/4. And then I'm going to take my, I just dropped a circle. And of course it was Belle, and she fell all the way under my table. I had to crawl down there and get her. Oops. Oh, I got some of that new tape, that new CM tape today, but it's at my studio. I didn't bring it home. So, like I say, I got my big Winterfest crop. Had to reschedule because all the people that were coming from out of town decided they weren't going to risk coming from out of town. So that's been an adventure this week for me. So we'll kind of put Belle up here. I want to leave at least that 1/2 inch off the top. Maybe I need to cut the 1/2 inch off just so that I know. And maybe having the sorry, thinking and talking are hard. Having the 1/4 inch on that side is too much. Yeah, I think I've got a little gap on either side with 6. And I still have enough that I could cut a 1/4 inch off either side and be okay. So, except I don't know which order I want to put them in. Did I lose some more of my squares? feel like I've lost some of my little square pictures that I cut. Well, oh, there's one. I think I'll do this one. I'll cut this one in a square. And if I find the other one that I already cut in the square, I can always swap it out. All right, I think I want to start kind of this one bell at the top, and I like the one of the sign language guy kind of being scared for her. And then, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are mostly interpreters, and 6 that are mostly not interpreters. So I kind of don't want to put them across from each other, although I guess they're going to be up and down from each other. Oh well, I guess that's how it's going to have to be. So the square ones, I'm going to, maybe I'll just start this down a 1/4 of an inch. I think it'd be easier if I start at the bottom, actually, but I have a circle at the bottom. So I'm going to start this at a 1/2 inch because I can see that line pretty easily right there. And this one apparently is going to go at whatever this 1/4 inch line is. So this is a 1/4 of an inch, and that's, okay, so that's not 2 inches apart, is it? 1, 2, but okay, so I guess we're going 2 inches apart in these, but the circles are smaller. But that's not going to work because, no, that's 2 inches and that's, all right, whatever. We're going to do it. Because that's right on the 6, and if I put this right here on the 4, I guess because they're 1 3/4 inch, even though they're 2 inches apart. And I'm putting these up along the side, propping, I can feel the edge of the ruler to kind of stop me. And then this one will be right here. And this is a little bit less than a 1/2 inch down here at the bottom, but I think it's going to be okay. And now I'm going to put this not right here on the 3/4 inch line because I want to put it a little bit apart. I think I'm going to do it at 1/8 at the whatever that is, 1/8 of an inch right there. And then I'm going to do the squares first. I don't think I'm making sense, but it's making sense to me. I'm just going to kind of center these between the 2 other squares because I can see the corners of the squares pretty well. Now that I've got pictures under this, it's not like I can't go up against it. It's lifted up off the paper just a hair. So basically these are going about 1/8 of an inch, which is good because I left 1/8 of an inch in between. And yeah, this is a little bit less than a 1/2 inch at the bottom, but I just needed to cut a 1/4 inch off either end. And I think that's going to work. And actually, I'm thinking about it now. The one that I saw online, they put each of these, like the circles were on a 1 1/4 inch square. And so I don't know that this would have worked for exactly what I wanted to do for that one, the one that was in my head. But I don't dislike this, even though this guy looks crooked now. Even though I had the, even though I was using my ruler. Let's see, we'll put it back on here and I'll use the ruler on the other side to see how it is. Alrighty. And so now I'm going to try and cut this. Use this one to get me, so I'm right at a 1/4 inch. I'm lining up the edge of my ruler with my cutting line. And then I'll do the same thing right here. Too many rulers. Ah. Okay, that was not a 1/4 inch. That's like an 1/8 of an inch, and I don't know if that's going to be as much enough for what I want, but it might be okay. I still want it to look like, you know, to obviously not be touching on the edges. And basically I got not quite a 1/4 inch. If I need to cut more off, I will. I haven't figured out what we're doing for a border yet. I'd like to use that new wavy scallop edge that came out with Your Own Way, but that's not home. That's at my studio and I didn't bring it home. I think I like this one because I don't want to cover, for some reason, whatever reason, I like this little circle-y paint splatter. So this can go right here. Oh yeah, that'll work right there. But now I need to do something along here with the red. Apparently I wrote down something about Red Robin having a catering menu for $15. And this has words on it, but I don't care because I'm going to punch through it. So let me see what border punches I have at home that I can actually use. All right, so of course, the double rickrack. I always love the double rickrack. I could just punch 2 and put a single rickrack along each of these. So that might work. I also found this one. I don't remember what it's called. This is, I think, from a secret box. No, this came with Legacy of Love. I don't think it was from a secret box. I could maybe do that one. That kind of looks, I don't know, regal. Then this one, which was with a secret box, which is kind of a scalloped scallop. But then I found this one, the Mosaic, which feels very kind of Disney Beauty and the Beast-esque. And I don't know. I feel like I use this one a lot. I know I used it in the last theme park album. I haven't used this one. I don't know if I've used this one ever. I think I'm going to use that one just for that. And if I hate it, I will punch something else. I'm also kind of wondering if I don't need to put a red border around this orange just to kind of tie it all together. So that might happen. Do I want to use both rows? Or do I want to cut this? Do I want to do it like that? Or do I just want one of them? I almost think I just want one of them. But I don't, I guess if I cut it, I'll just put the pointy ends up and down. I don't want, like, I don't feel like I like some of it on the green and some of it on the tan. Like, what if I did it, you know, so it was just like this. That's kind of what I think I want. I don't know. I think it's too much with the double row. And the nice thing is that I have that option to do either or. And I've got enough paper that I can change my mind. Let me get rid of the scraps. I punched on my layout, which was maybe not the smartest thing to do, but at least it caught the scraps. And I'm going to take a couple of Post-it notes actually, to be able to cut this guy perfectly down the middle. And I'm going to line up the middle where I can see the cut line on my mat. I've cut enough that the cut line is very visible. And so I'm going to actually, I might want to put the Post-it sticky note right here so that more of the sticky stays along the line I'm going to cut on. Uh-oh. And it just came off. I'm just going to cut the one for now. It wasn't exactly perfectly straight, but I think that's, I don't know. Which do we like better? I mean, I guess I could do one on the top and two on the bottom. I kind of like that too. Give it a little bit of a variety. Okay, that's what we'll do. That way I don't have to decide. Okay, so I do have to punch one more. But now I'm like, oh, do I want to use this also to map my photos? I know I want to map that. And so probably I need to, but then do I need to cut this all down and frame the whole layout? Too many choices. So it doesn't matter in the least that this has words all over it, because you really don't see the words on this paper. You know, it just becomes background, even though, you know, when you look at the paper, it's got all these little sayings. It just became an almost solid. So here's my thing. Silicone mat. That's what it's called. And I'm going to put this under, I'm going to line it up so that this line, the top line, is right along the edge, so that I won't have any like half where you see that seam. It'll be right up along there. Oh, I'm liking that. And then maybe I need to do it the same way. Well, this one, yeah, maybe I'll do it the same way here so that it rests along the the green line and doesn't have little bits of the opposite color poking out. And it is not perfectly cut. I mean, I can see that some of these have a little bit longer, like you can kind of see where it started to go off to the other side, but I don't care. Oh, this one has a hair in it. Ah, how did that happen? I do like it. I'm glad I did the one at the top and the two at the bottom. What a neat look that gave. I'll put this right up here. Position them all together. Ah. Okay, I'll put this guy down. It's actually poking off the edge a little bit, and it didn't line up quite right with the edge here, so this is what Repo was made for. These little dainty punched out borders and laser borders. Oh, it went right to the edge. There we go. And then this one, again, also it's sitting on this edge. Okay, yay. Now this one I am going to matte on here. Just like a smidge. I'm still gonna have to cut some of it off of there so that I have a frame around on the other paper. Like a 1/16 of an inch. And I'm going to use this edge because it's the factory edge and not the one I just punched on, because sometimes when we punch it's not exactly straight. And when we say we, I mean me. I am not accusing you of not punching exactly straight. Oh, that was just perfect. Look at that. Oh, perfect edge. I just, you know, again, use my little cutting line. You can see where it is. I could pull out my sight lines, but because my my trimmer mat is pretty old, you can see, there you go, you can see where the cut line is. So that's going to go right here. Oh yeah, I like that. I like it. And then I've got these two. This is, got all these things with rulers on it. 4.5. So I could mat 2 of my photos with this, and I bet I have another piece, which would be nice to have them matted. This one, oh, this is the one that I need to, maybe, I think I'll wait, and this, I'll mat this one and the bakery one, and then I'll save a bigger piece for when I do the Peekaboo Pocket mat. I'm gonna give this a little bit bigger mat. I don't think I want it that big. I don't think I want it 4.5. Do I want it 4.5? Sure, we'll do 4.5. And if we decide we don't like 4.5, I'll cut it down. And that's because these are digital size photos. So they are not 6 inches. They're 4 by 5.25, which means I can do 2 of them and still fit it on a 12-inch piece. So there, 5 1/4, which means this is going to be, there must be more than that because this is 5 3/4. So 1/4, another quarter there, and a quarter here, and 5 3/4. And then here's another piece, but I think, because I want to use a peekaboo pocket, even though I don't know where any peekaboo pockets are right now. Do I want this one to be, oh, you know, I wonder if I want to scooch this guy over a little bit this way, rather than have it go all the way to the edge. And I could put something down here. I'm not going to stick this down yet. This is going to be in a peekaboo pocket, so it needs to only be 6 inches. But if I do the piece underneath it at 4 1/2, I'm not putting them next to each other. I'm going to do 4 1/2. I'm going to do 4 1/2 by 6 1/2 underneath. And if you guys remember my 12-inch trimmer math, to get 6 1/2, I'm going to cut 5 1/2 off this side. That gives me my 4 1/2 by 6 1/2. And then I'm going to have to cut another piece. That's 4. And I'm actually not going to cut this one because I need it to be 4 by 6, but I want it to be the burgundy on both sides. So I'm just going to fold it to go in my peekaboo pocket. Well, that didn't work quite great, but then I think I'm gonna cut this one down. Even though I really liked those trees, if I cut this to 3 1/2 and cut off the trees, then when I put this on, I get that mat. It's a little wider on the sides, but that's okay. And I don't know which one of these I'm going to put on the other. So this will go right like this. And it's funny, I was looking at some Pinterest videos. Uh-oh. Yeah, it's a little too... Yeah, I guess that's close enough. Because it's going to be the peekaboo pocket. So if I do this and scoot it over a little bit more that way, then it won't feel too different. But I don't want to stick this down, and I don't want to use the, what you call under here, I can't use the 6 1/2. It won't fit. I've got to just do it by 6. I was looking at some Pinterest layouts just for inspiration earlier, and then I didn't go with anything I looked at on Pinterest. So, all right, 4 by 6. So yeah, this has to touch the side because my peekaboo pocket, I'm going to put it underneath. I like to stick my peekaboo pocket to my base page and then put this wallpapering over the top and then have it flip over the top of the page protector. Okay, sorry, I just got a little nasty gram from my phone saying my battery is down to 20% because I forgot to plug it in. I know that I can use a peekaboo pocket on top of a page protector like we did for the train. But I like them better when they're, I don't know, when they're on the side. Especially right now when I'm not sticking my pages down yet. I'm just, oh yeah. I'm just tucking them in. Of course, now I'm looking at that and I see that I didn't quite touch on the bottom. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't care. I am going to cut these down. I like this one too. Which of these? I like this one because they're all making a funny face. So this will be on the back side of that peekaboo pocket. And I'm going to cut both of those down. 2, 3.5. Which is a little too bad because the background is very pretty, but actually, this is going to be the back side of the train layout. So that one is already on its page. So I could possibly show you guys what I do. Except that the page protector is already on. Oh, that's kind of a pain. All right. Do I need something? I'm going to use this on this grid. Do I need something now on this outside edge, though, besides just leaving that space? Or do I need another piece of this going down? Kind of thinking I want another piece of this. I think because I'm really liking this more than I expected to. So this video will go live at 10 o'clock on Thursday morning, which is now when my updated emergency wintry weather version of my Winterfest crop is going to be. And we'll see. I think it looks like now that the weather is going to be moving north of us, and I live just outside of Huntsville, Alabama, and it looks like there's going to be almost like a little bubble. Our weatherman called it a nose, where it's like going to be green, warm air coming up from the Gulf, which means rain. But like all the computer models can't agree, and it changes, seems like every hour. So keep an eye on your weather this weekend. I know some of my friends up in the Baltimore, Maryland area are looking at also crazy weather. Ooh, I like that. I like it. Oh, it lined up almost perfectly. So wherever you are, I hope you're safe. Okay, yes, 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 yes. Uh-oh, when I plugged in my phone, I apparently pulled this down a little bit. There we go. Yay. Yay, yay. I like it. Okay, I'm going to journal down here. Oh, I've got this vine too. I can do the vine down here. I'll do it next to it. I think I am going to do the vine. Even though I'm not really a vine person, and this is about treats and Beauty and the Beast shows and not vines, but actually, oh, sorry, I was off camera. Actually, I think I want to put the, oh, now I've stuck this down though. So I want to put the vine down first, and then I'm going to put this down. Because I like this lattice thing better than the vine. I'm not a vine person. What if I just did the vine underneath the lattice? Now it's going to kind of be off to the side. Okay. So we'll put the vine right up next to the Beauty and the Beast thing. And then this will be, I had it so it was just perfectly aligned with the piece right here, and I liked that. Yeah, there. That's just a hint of a little vine under there. Not too much. And then I could put the little making, nope, too big, making memories. Nope, nope, nope. I could do smile. Oh, I've got happy and smile. And I could do happy down here. Not necessarily what I would probably use. I think I might use this little circle. It actually kind of goes with those circles. All right, let me journal, and I'm going to journal right here, and I'm going to see if I can find a peekaboo pocket, and if I can, we will put those together, and if not, I'll do that in the album flip through. I'll show you the part with the peekaboo pocket. Oh, change my mind. I need to add something else. I need, group of 3. You know how I feel about that. I think I'm just going to put this little leaf right there. Okay. All right, now I'm going to journal. Okay, got my journaling done. I just said Princeton, Nicole, and Alex got tired and walked back to the hotel for a nap. The girls were still full of energy, so they stayed and played. A quick stop at the confectionery for a snack, then a ride on Pooh's Honey Hunt, and finally the Beauty and the Beast show. Couldn't fit all my journaling here, so I moved over here. The actors were great, but the best part was watching the sign language interpreters who do just as much acting. But now I'm realizing that I need something up here. I've got this one here, I've got that one here, and I did my little third leaf that I put, but I think I need something here. I forgot I had a second sheet. I don't want to use, these are all words, and I don't want to use, I already used happy and smile. I don't want to use love this life, collect beautiful moments. So I think my only choice is going to be these little leafy things, but I think I'm going to use this other, I could use this big one that says life is good and then cover it up with a little like this, and then we'll just put this right in the middle. I don't know about that. But I like that a little bit better. I wish I had like a heart punched out of this maybe. Yes, let me find, oh, you know what, here's right here. We'll take a little walk down memory lane. I think I want the smaller one, but maybe I want the bigger one. There we go. That'll work. I could do 2. Nah, we'll just do 1. And if it wasn't going to be in the middle of the layout, I would put it on a foam square, but right here in the middle of the layout. So I did not remember to look for any peekaboo pockets, so I'm not going to try and put that on right now. But there we go. There is my finished layout for just the girls on their own without mom and dad. Thankfully, they're, you know, semi-grown-ups and have jobs and they can pay for themselves. This is kind of bothering me, the gap between these. I think I'm going to scoot this over. So it's going to just be touching the outside edge, which I don't usually like to have my photos touching the outside edge, but I think for this one, because I want the gap in between to be a little bit more consistent, that's how it's going to work. And now I'm thinking I need some orange somewhere else over here. Like maybe this one needed to be orange. Nope. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. There we go. So, what week are we in? 29? And we're going to call this Girls at Play. No, actually, that would not look good on that Facebook algorithm. I don't know what I'm going to call this layout. I'll come up with something, and you guys will know what it is because you will have already seen it before you watch this part. So, thank you so much. If you are one of the ones coming to my Winterfest, I'm excited to see you, and you'll have to be watching this late. If you do not live close enough, wherever you are, please stay safe in this wintry weather. I know I was talking to a friend up in Minnesota, and she said it's going to be like -16 for a high temperature up in Minnesota. So I guess I shouldn't complain, but gosh, I hope we don't get 2 inches of ice. So yeah, let's all stay safe with the wintry weather out there. And the nice thing is that we can stay inside and scrapbook. So as long as we don't lose power. If we lose power, scrapbook is a little bit harder in the dark. But charge your phones, and we can still scrapbook with the flashlights from our phone if need be. So thanks so much for watching episode 29, and I will be back next week with another edition of Theme Park Thursday.